Hey y'all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club. Today we're going to talk about Lindsay Gibson's Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. We've been going back and covering some of the stories, which we unfortunately had to skip, we being me, sorry, had to skip when trying to break these chapters down into summaries. If you haven't had a chance yet, please do check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can fill out a contact form and reach out to us. You could also fill out our life balance questionnaire if you'd like, and then send us an email. So here we're in chapter 7, Breaking Down and Awakening. And this section is called Waking Up Through Relationship Breakdowns. Mike's story. Mike had recently hit rock bottom after cutbacks in his work hours and a divorce that left him nearly penniless. His life had been entirely about being a success in the eyes of other people, especially his wife and mother. Now, in therapy, he was working hard to identify values more in keeping with his true self. In the process, he was beginning to appreciate himself for who he was, including his unique strengths and talents. As Mike reflected on his past, he said, "I didn't make decisions based on how I felt. I made decisions based on what other people wanted. I've been doing this for 35 years, including enduring a loveless marriage, and I have nothing to show for it. But maybe I wanted my recent problems to happen. Maybe I was hoping things would crumble. I've been beaten up, torn down, and humiliated, and now I'm about to be laid off. But I'm telling you, I'm happy." In spite of his material losses and disappointments, Mike could finally drop the healing fantasy that he would be loved if he took care of everybody else at his own expense. The enormous financial debt he incurred due to his divorce was a fitting metaphor for what it had cost him to be someone he wasn't for so many years. Realizing how desperate he had been to be accepted by others, Mike said, "I didn't think I was as good as other people." Then he looked at me, smiled, and asked, "So how to define a successful person?" Answering his own question, he said, "I guess, first of all, you get rid of success and then see who you are as a person." Waking up from idealizing others. Patsys Story. My client Patsy was clearly more emotionally mature than either her impulsive husband or her petulant mother who lived with her. However, Patsy recoiled when I observed that she seemed to be the most mature person in her family. "Oh, I don't like to think that," she objected. She said such a thought felt disloyal and that she didn't think of herself as special or superior in any way. Although humility can be a nice quality, it wasn't doing Patsy any good because she was using it to ignore a glaring reality. Idealizing her mother and husband wasn't helping her, nor was denying her own strengths. Once Patsy was able to accept that she had more maturity than her husband or mother, she could be more objective about their behavior. She stopped attributing positive qualities to them that they didn't have and was able to set limits with them. She also stopped wasting energy pretending she was less than she was so that they could pretend to be more than they were. Okay, and then the last story in this chapter is Waking Up to a New Set of Values. Aaron's story. Aaron was a strong, silent type who had always lived by a code that involved not pushing for recognition. Growing up, he loved theater and acting, but he never spoke up to request a role or ask a director for a bigger part. He thought he would seem spoiled and demanding if he promoted himself, and that lobbying for himself was a sign of weakness. However, as an adult, Aaron began to see that his code of not speaking up for himself often resulted in other people being put ahead of him. In addition, others often took advantage of his talents without reciprocating. He saw that his healing fantasy in which he hoped authority figures would spontaneously recognize his potential, wasn't coming to fruition. So he decided to develop a new value of going after what he wanted. He started actively seeking opportunities and laying claim to them. Considering a job change, he said, "In the past, I would have been reluctant to do this for myself, but now I'm not." He finally saw himself as worthy of standing up for and investing in. So that's chapter 7, stories from chapter 7. I do hope that you pick up your own copy here. It's an excellent book. It did really help me in my life, and I've listened to it maybe 100 times. Look forward to talking with you guys soon. We'll continue on in chapter 8, how to avoid getting hooked by an emotionally immature parent, no S. Not sure if there's stories in here. I think there are. And I know that when I summarized in the past, I tended to skip over them. I think there actually might only be one story in here. But regardless, we'll do this next series of videos together. I hope you guys have checked out the next playlist that I also have. It's What Makes Love Last by John Gottman. There we really talk through, and importantly, right, if you are raised in a family with emotionally immature parenting, or that's your relationship dynamic with your family, it tends to happen that you replicate that in your romantic relationships. So I highly recommend looking at this other playlist as well, picking up your own copy of John Gottman's books. He also has parenting books, so if you're looking to try and break that cycle, right? You have emotionally immature parents and you want to make sure that you are not an emotionally immature parent. One of John Gottman's works is on parenting and raising an emotionally intelligent child. So I do highly recommend that one as well. As this keeps growing, more and more recommendations come in for books. So I'm not quite sure where I'll go. I do know that the people of YouTube have spoken, and they definitely are more interested in this parenting stuff because I think there's less of a glut on YouTube. Everybody thinks that they can offer you the best relationship advice, and that's why you see a whole bunch of videos on relationships. But the difference between everyone else and John Gottman is that John studied it, and so he's giving you evidence-based advice as opposed to just telling you what worked in his marriage or what he thinks is good. He studied thousands and thousands of couples. So definitely worth your while here. Please do check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com, and I look forward to talking with you guys more in the next video. Bye-bye.